Cult of the Lamb has recently made it out on PC, developed by Massive Monster and published by Devolver Digital. The roguelike cult management game where you take the role of an adorable little lamb hell-bent on gaining revenge on the old faith bishops that have tried to remove your head from its woolly shoulders. There are two main systems within the game. The first being a dungeon crawler hack and slash, where the goal is to cut a path through various enemies and biomes to defeat a series of mini-bosses and work your way up to the big boss fights. The second system is based around managing and growing your own cult, from your very first follower to having a fully fledged, brainwashed community. The game loop is simple, yet very satisfying and addictive. It goes like this. You set out on a crusade, which is the hack and slash portion. Kill the bad guys, or get slain yourself, or in this case, you get martyred. Lose some of your precious resources you gathered. You'll then return to your cult, take care of the cult leader business, which includes cooking for your followers, indoctrinating new followers you rescued during your crusade into the folds of your cult, giving gifts to followers to further to increase their faith towards you, and run sermons and rituals in the cult temple. The hack and slash portion of the game is well thought out and fun to engage with. When starting a new crusade, you are given a weapon and a curse at random from a pool of weapons which will increase in size as you progress your cult. Think weapons like swords, daggers and axes, and curses like summoning tentacles to smash your enemies or summon a puddle of toxic goo to poison them. When you have your weapon and curse equipped, it's time to smite down your foes. You'll battle through a variety of rooms, similar to games like Hades, Curse of the Dead Gods or Children of Morta. The attack and dodge animations are quick and responsive, and it feels like when I get hit, it's down to my bad reaction times and not the game mechanics themselves. That being said, I would recommend the hard difficulty mode if you have played top-down hack and slash games before, as normal might leave much to be desired in terms of challenge. Once a set of rooms has been completed, you'll see a branching map similar to Slay the Spire's progression system. You'll pick a path, and depending on the symbol, you'll find different scenarios, such as finding a new follower or finding food and resources to bring back to the cult. Not only will you have weapons and deadly curses to help you in the dungeon crawl, you will also have the opportunity to find tarot cards that augment you in various ways. This could be extra hearts for your health bar, increasing the damage of weapons, or even making enemies drop fish as well as their bones. There are 4 main biomes to travel through on your crusades. Each is locked behind a door that will require the previous boss to be defeated to be able to open a new door and challenge the more difficult bosses. Each new area has a big visual difference. The enemies also change and have new moves and abilities for you to learn to react to. This feature kept it fresh, and I never got bored of a biome as I eventually moved on to a brand new one. That's not to say you can't revisit old ones again, and there is an incentive to do so, but I won't get into that. The crusades themselves last for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on room layouts and whether you are fighting a big boss. This is why the loop is so addictive, as I mentioned. It's hard to get burned out on crusades, as there are only 10 minutes of hack and slash mayhem. The second portion of the game is leading your cult, growing follower numbers and meeting their needs. There are 3 main resources to manage in this part of the game: hygiene, hunger and faith, which are represented by orbs in the top left corner of the screen. Keeping on top of hygiene is quite an easy task if you don't mind getting your hands dirty. Being a cult leader isn't all propaganda. If the cleanliness of your cult does decide to drop, you'll have illness on your hands. Cleaning up poop will be the least of your worries. You'll also have to feed your cultists. Growing or gathering food resources out in the world or while out crusading, cooking requires a minigame to complete successful meals. Failure will result in wasted food or sick followers. Faith, being the most important of the 3, is how much your cultists believe in your divine right to lead them. If this drops, your cultists can start to rebel. There are multiple ways to deal with this though. Use rituals and ceremonies to reinforce their beliefs. Fail on a crusade and they'll think you are weak, or sacrifice the cultists and they'll judge you too cruel. It's a very well thought out system, It's very deep, and it's too deep to discuss fully. So you spend all this time making sure your followers are comfortable and well fed. What do you get in return? Devotion is the main thing you'll need from them. Devotion is another resource that needs to be gathered from your followers as they worship the statue at the heart of the cult's base. This is a progress tree that will allow you to upgrade your cult, which means a large temple, farms, shelters, and outhouses are just a few of the upgrades. The bulk of the activities will take place within the temple itself. Sermons will be heard, doctrines signed, and rituals started. Need a feast to increase faith and reduce hunger? How about ascending a worthy cultist into a better life? Or human sacrifice might be more your style. Whatever you choose, the temple, doctrines, and rituals really bring the cult management part of the game to life. I think it would be hard to have a review of Cult of the Lamb without mentioning its art style. There isn't a single animation, character model, or biome that isn't fun to look at and engage with. It has a great mix of cute animals and gruesome creatures. It's quite the contradiction. The main player, the lamb, is a mix of both in this case. When idle and running around camp doing cult leader chores, you are a cute little lamb. When you step into the temple and begin running rituals and sermons, you'll be shown the demonic side. Your eyes will glow with a white light as you become possessed by the one who waits, the name of the god you have become a vessel to. You'll also be treated to a variety of locations, not just bound to your camp and the crusade biomes. You'll meet unique characters there, each with a quest for you to complete. The NPCs are very varied and compelling to look at and talk to. They offer some lore to the backstory of the locations and other characters. As I mentioned earlier, the biomes and enemies all have a tailored look to them. Whether it's the deep sea theme of Anchor Deep, or the toxic, spiderweb-filled Silk Cradle, you'll be able to distinguish between them easily after a couple of crusades in each. The enemy designs also change with biomes, and again you'll be able to identify specific enemies and their attacks without issue after just a few crusades. The pros of Cult of the Lamb include its great progression, so the overall pacing of the game is really well done. It's linear, but it can be done at your own pace. I like the short combat sections, as it means it's harder to become burned out. Unlike a game like Hades, where 30 minutes runs can be quite common, and the cult management is a nice break between the hacking and slashing. You can really set your own challenge for the difficulty. I played on hard mode, which I think was perfect for me, as I had plenty of deaths and near misses with death too. But it wasn't frustrating, because I knew if I had the right combination of tarot cards, weapons and curses, then I would be able to defeat the boss eventually. Lastly, the game is just so fun to look at. Every animation is done so well. It can be casting a curse or sacrificing a follower, and I just never get bored of watching the animations. The cons, so I think that at the moment there are swords, daggers, axes, gauntlets and hammers for weapons in the game. I would like to see more variety in the future. I definitely had a preference for either swords or axes in my crusades. I enjoyed using those the most. I was thinking maybe adding something like a ranged weapon could help change up the playstyle for a crusade. While this isn't all bad, I did have some trouble knowing how much reach my weapons had. The gauntlets, for example, seem to be able to hit enemies quite far past the combo animation you see on screen. This can make it difficult for when you might hit or miss an enemy. Once I made it into the last third of the game, faith management became quite easy. If the faith had bottomed out, or is in the red for instance, I could easily head to the temple, run a sermon and a few rituals, and boost the faith back up to full in just a few minutes. I also had some perks which made rituals cost less resources to run, and reduce the cooldowns between running them. And this could have been the difference between having an easy or a hard time with faith management. Cult of the Lamb came out of nowhere for me. I saw it on Steam's up-and-coming game list a day before it came out, so I can't say I was caught up in any of the hype around the game. After watching the trailer and being a fan of roguelike games in general, I had to give it a try, and I'm so glad that I did. The main story took me about 14 hours to complete, but there's still more progress to have, unlocking all of the cult buildings, tarot cards or follower skins for example. It instantly grabbed my attention and I played an easy 4 hours in my first session. The introduction to the game is very fun and the way new systems are introduced is well done. It lets you figure things out for the most part, but isn't so complex that you get lost in the systems. I would easily recommend Cult of the Lamb to anyone that enjoys roguelites or management games. As I said earlier in the video, the game can be set to quite an easy difficulty level, which would mean players of all skill would be able to progress no problems. There is also so much content that I missed out or didn't want to spoil that would be best left experienced firsthand. I'll leave it up to you to decide if you want to run your very own cult. Well, that ends the review. I hope you enjoyed. I did play through most of it on my Twitch channel, so if you get a chance to come by, the links are in the description and on the main channel. I hope to see you there. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, so yep, hope to see you there, and thanks for watching. Bye.